Hold on. Something's not right here. Did Sony make something good? What is going on? All right, just give me 1 second. Obviously, I watch Spider-Noir in black and white because I'm a superior Spider-Man fan and I am an intellect, okay? I am a fan of the high art. No, but Spider-Noir was great. I did watch it in black and white because I felt like I watched it in color in the first episode and then watched it in black and white in the second episode and then continued black and white because for some reason in color it just feels like the acting and the style they're going for is just like bad, cheesy, and just doesn't work. But when it's black and white, it just immerses you way more in the world of this 1930s like film style world, which really worked. And once it was in black and white and I really could feel what they were going for, I realized this is awesome. Okay. I really enjoyed it. It was funny, it was interesting, and I just loved the identity it had as a project. But as I'm watching it and realizing, like, okay, this is actually good, it made me realize, is Spider Noir a soft launch towards the pivot for what Sony's doing with the live action Spider Man film rights now? Like, I know that Spider Noir is a show, but is this just kind of testing the waters? Because we know that after, absolute peak cinema from Madam Web and Morbius, that they canceled the Sony spin-off Spider-Man villain, whatever you want to call it. They canceled that universe. But they did say that they're doing something new. They're moving in a new direction. And I know there's different theories out there, but to me, Spider-Noir shows what they're really planning on. I'm glad they finally learned it because they honestly should have been doing this with the Spider-Man rights from the beginning, but I think that they're not necessarily doing this Spider-Man cinematic universe, but rather a Spider-Man cinematic multiverse. Hear me out. Right now, the Spider-Verse as just an idea and a concept is super popular. I mean, my daughter watches Spidey and His Amazing Friends, and it features multiple Spider-Man characters. It features Spider-Gwen, Miles Morales. Like, the idea of the Spider-Verse is reaching young to old. No Way Home was extremely profitable. The Into the Spider-Verse movies are highly respected. Like, the Spider-Verse, people are hungry for it. And to me, Spider-Noir is Sony testing the waters for this new universe. Rather than trying to compete with Marvel and make one shared universe, rather than trying to profit off of Spider-Man by making movies off of his villains, I think that they're going to make live action Spider-Verse. Show, like, each project is a new timeline, a new universe, and I think that this could really work. Here are 3 reasons why I think that a Spider-Man cinematic multiverse will work for Sony. To me, the biggest standout of why Spider-Noir was so great was because it had its own identity. It understood the strengths of the character and it did something different. A big reason why the Sony like villain movies didn't work is, I mean, there's multiple reasons, but a big reason for me personally was they were so generic. We were in a world where the MCU was dominant and they were making banger after banger and kind of reinvented the superhero genre. But because of that, they started to become copy and paste. Like, what made Marvel so fresh and new at the beginning started to become the norm. And fans were not wanting just another generic superhero project in that style of the MCU. Like, there was an ocean of comic book properties at this time. We wanted something new, something that was different, something that was unique, something that was able to make it rise to the top. In Spider-Noir, like, it understood, okay, this universe from the comics, it takes place in the 1930s. What if we made this show feel like a 1930s movie? The black and white, the acting style, the sets, like everything down to like how Spider-Noir, when he had his mask on, like it was so obvious that Nick Cage was doing a ADR voiceover in post. Like it didn't really line up, but that was on purpose. They wanted you to feel like this was a distinct universe, and that's why it felt so different and fresh, and I just absolutely enjoyed it. And that is a strength that a Spider-Man cinematic multiverse could have, because each universe could be something so different. Like a Miles Morales movie would be so cool. We've already seen it because he has a completely different perspective on the Spider-Man character than Peter Parker does. That is awesome right there. I also think like a superior Spider-Man story would be amazing for a movie. Adapting the comic storyline where Doc Ock and Peter Parker, they switch bodies, and Doc Ock becomes Spider-Man, and he's known for killing his villains and being more violent. Like a rated R Spider-Man movie would be amazing. It'd be something different. It would bring its own tone. Like that's what I'm saying. These movies could have their own unique style and tone that would separate them from other cinematic universes like the MCU and DCU and things like that, because they're tapping into the uniqueness of the multiverse, which would just be awesome. Another strength that this strategy could really have is that they're not tied to this interconnected universe necessarily. Because each movie would take place and follow a separate Spider-Man from a separate timeline, like you don't have to worry about continuity, you don't have to worry about, oh, make sure these dates line up. Like even though that's something I do enjoy about Marvel, and I love the interconnectivity, Sony could do something different, and they could choose to not cross over if they want. Maybe a project flops, maybe people aren't really connecting with that character. Guess what? We don't really have to see them again because they're not setting something up necessarily. But if they want, they could easily just cross paths, go into a different universe, or build to something like a Spider-Geddon movie with Morlun and the Inheritors, right? Like they have the option to do it or not, and they're setting themselves up for success, and having the option to opt in or opt out is perfect. This is like the biggest reason why the Sony villain movies failed, because they didn't have freaking Spider-Man in it. Like Morbius and Craven and all these characters, they're interesting characters because of how they play off of Spider-Man. And on their own, they're just not as interesting. And so with this strategy, you're now able to take full advantage of the fact that you own the IP of Spider-Man and his related characters without having to commit to just one mainline Peter Parker, because audiences are in a place where they can understand, yeah, this is a different universe. Like No Way Home showed that the general public can handle the fact that, oh, he's Spider-Man, but he's played by a different actor. Like they understand the multiverse at a base level. And so lean full tilt into that. Spider-Man is the most popular superhero right now. Like, period. People love Spider-Man. So why not make movies that aren't based off of side characters of Spider-Man? They are all Spider-Man. Every movie you make has Spider-Man. The absolute money machine that is Spider-Man. I mean, I don't understand how they haven't done it so far, but every single movie you make isn't like, oh, it's a Spider-Man villain. It is Spider-Man. It is Spider-Gwen. It is Miles. It is Spider-Noir, right? Like, the Spider-Verse is so vast and so wide. Like, lean full tilt into the fact that you own Spider-Man. Look, Sony still kind of has a bad track record of me. Like, they've still left a bad taste in my mouth from all those movies, but I am cautiously optimistic after Spider-Noir. And if they really take on this strategy that I've presented and it looks like they're moving towards, I might be all on board. It could be really fun, really interesting, and something to really separate themselves from other universes. But hey, you let me know down in the comments. What do you think? Is this a good idea? Is this a bad idea? What are some Spider-Verse characters you would like to see get a project in a potential Sony universe? Let me know in the comments. And if you have any prayer requests, please drop it in the comments as well. I would love to be praying for you. Dooskies, homies.